And we welcome you back. 2 days after the 2012 Benghazi attack, a longtime confidant allegedly told Hillary Clinton that the attack was tied to an al-Qaeda affiliate that used the infamous protests that we've heard so much about as cover for the attack.
Yeah, the New York Times reports that despite that warning, then UN Ambassador Susan Rice went on to claim that the attack was spontaneous. That's a great place now to bring in our roundtable. And joining us is the one, the only, Rick Ungar. He is contributor for Forbes.com and co-host of The Daily Wrap. How'd you like that for an intro? The one, the only.
I couldn't.
One of these days we're going to get you to bring an instrument. You're going to play for us.
Hey, Rick, nice
job.
job.
Do that.
Nice job before we get started. Nice job before we get started, too, on the Dave Letterman final show. I enjoyed your interviews out there. That was good stuff. We want to talk about something slightly more serious, though, and that's the issue with Hillary Clinton. We're hearing today that some of her emails are going to be released online, as she apparently requested, as we heard earlier this week. Do you think there's anything in these emails that are going to be released that will shed any light on this situation?
Well, there may be. I understand that they're not classified, but they're sensitive. I do, however, have to say, I find it more than ironic, this thing going around today about, well, Sidney Blumenthal told her 2 days after the attack that it had been al-Qaeda. Look, you kind of can't have it both ways. We've all listened to conservative media these past few days just trashing Sidney Blumenthal. And why was Hillary Clinton getting advice from him when he didn't work at the State Department? And why was she sending these emails along to other people? Now, suddenly, Sidney Blumenthal, because the storyline is a bit tough on Hillary, now he is so credible that she should have listened to what he said about it being al-Qaeda and announced it to the country 2 days after it happened. Guys, you got to be consistent. You can have it one way or the other, but you kind of can't have it both.
And what do you think the viewers at home think about this whole issue? I mean, I know conservatives really care, but the average everyday person who not a political junkie, do you think that person cares when it comes time to go to the polls?
I think they care about Benghazi. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think that Hillary's certainly going to have to put on a heck of a good performance when she testifies. But look, those of us who have spent a fair amount of time researching Benghazi with an open mind, I think a lot of us, if not all of us, have come to the conclusion that there were things being done in Benghazi that our government simply couldn't talk about. And that is a big part of this. And we believe that the people in Congress, even those who are conducting these investigations, they know what was going on there. And that's what makes this all slightly offensive. Members of Congress at the very highest levels knew what was going on in Benghazi. And you know what? These things should happen, and they should happen in secret, and the government shouldn't tell us everything that might be happening of a secret nature. So it's kind of been used, in my estimation, as a political whipping tool. Unfortunate, but that's life in America today.
Well, Rick, when you look at the case of Sidney Blumenthal, that's exactly what I wonder here. When you're bringing up these kind of tertiary characters to the narrative of this story here, where are we really going now? And we're hearing reports that Huma Abedin is going to be called before the Benghazi Select Committee. And, talking to somebody who was actually there, Chris Peranto, on the night of the attack, he believes there is a actual effort in Washington to put on this sort of sideshow with the Benghazi committee and say, look at this, we're going to have these people testify, but not really get to the bottom of what happened, because as you mentioned, maybe the American people don't really want to know.
Well, it's interesting, that you chose Chris. I know Chris Peranto, really cool guy. Tonto's just the best. And when you talk to those guys who were there and who wrote the book and the whole thing that we all know about, they are very careful still in what they say about what was happening there. Chris is right. This is all about creating a political sideshow going into an election year. Look, we can all, reasonable people can decide whether Americans should know what was really happening in Benghazi. It's not unreasonable that there be investigations as to whether or not the State Department, CIA, or any other branch acted properly in the circumstances. That's fair game. It is.
Right.
But of course it's a sideshow.
Well, and I think the image that is always going to stick in my mind is her becoming so frazzled.
Yeah,
and saying, what difference does
just
it make?
Think ahead.
It's like she was angry, and it seemed like she didn't have control of the situation.
Let's look ahead, and let's just say that Hillary Clinton, either in the Democratic primaries or in the presidential elections, what do you guys think she'll take more questions about, Benghazi or her vote on Iraq?
I think Benghazi.
What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I think, her vote on Iraq is ancient history. She's already copped to it being a mistake. I don't see any benefit in beating that dead horse. I think, I agree, it's going to be Benghazi.
All right, I don't know. It depends. If it's Jeb who is the nominee, I think we'll see an interesting back and forth.
Because she's going to base a lot of her experience and tell people, look at everything I did as Secretary of State. And then, of course, that's going to open the door for, well, yeah, let's
You mean
look at
Mohammed
that.
Morsi?
But I got to tell you, most people I don't think are going to blame. Jeb kind of stumbled a bit last week, obviously, but why would I blame Jeb Bush for Iraq? He had nothing to do
As
with
he
it.
said,
Right.
He's not his brother. He's
my name
him.
is Bush. Sue me. Basically, that's what he said. Rick, come back.
Yeah.
We're going to play Real or Fake. I know you love it. We're back with more right after this.